I'm excited. See, I was really having some trouble getting to sleep last night because I kept having a conversation over and over and over again in my head. And it was a positive conversation because what it was this sort of summation of the findings that I've had and the revelations that I've had over the past, well, I mean, it could go back for a while, but even just the last couple months. Some of the things that really have hit me was just how much of a negative person I felt like I just didn't realize I was. Like, so much time and attention was spent on focusing on the problems that were around me, and also just being caught up in my own thoughts and failing to connect deeper than on a superficial level with those around me. I think this comes from some sort of way that I view the world, where, for example, I was living in London, which was very exciting and there's some old people. Very exciting and a high, I just held it in high regard. And, I was still trying to find my feet in a lot of ways, and obviously everyone always is. But in that case, I still was surrounded by so many positive attitudes and creative minds and people doing such extravagant things, because that's normal over there. And now I've come back here and I've kind of got this expectation of what it's like for, to be in a big city and to kind of have people driving you forward. Now, my intention while I'm back here in Brisbane, a city I'd never really wanted to come back to live, is I've always had this held a hesitation of diving into it and being present, to invest my time and energy into being here. See, normally in the morning I'm in my car and I'll drive to work or something, and 9 times out of 10 I'll be putting on a podcast or music or just something to fill the time. And what I've realized as well is that I've got a lot of shit on my mind that I just want to get out and kind of just let it go. And to do it this way is probably one of the easier ways to do it. When I'm with friends and currently I haven't been as present as I'd like to be. And I don't find, as I was saying, I haven't invested fully back into being here in Brisbane. So with that in mind, there's this fear or this hesitance to commit to strong relationships with people around me. And thus, a lack of somebody to talk deeply with about the things that I'm realizing now are fundamental to my being. So that is kind of where we're at right now. I wanted to let some things off my chest, and I thought, rather than listening to other people talk about their great sort of opinions, which I've done to death. I mean, I listened to the Tim Ferriss podcast, I listened to Joe Rogan podcast, WTF podcast, all of these sorts of nice, really talky sort of, how do you say it? I mean, basically self-help podcasts. And there's a lot of lessons that you can learn from them. And I think that's awesome. But it also gets to a point where you go, I need to kind of come up with a framework through which to see myself. So what I mean is, you need a sort of way to qualify and quantify yourself in certain characteristics. The way that I'd been doing it for so long was, as I was saying at the start, so negative. Everything that I focused my attention on was my problems, or what I assumed to be my problems. This really one-sided view that all the attention that you have is on the issues that you have at hand. And it's fucking tiring. It's boring. Nobody else wants to listen to you. All they do, and then they realize that that's all you talk about, and then fuck off, basically. So it's time to be a little bit more grateful for the things that I have in my life. To commit to being where I am. Now, rather than like have this sort of, I don't know, circulating worry about the future and all this kind of crap, it's just, it doesn't actually help you in the present. So I make films for a living, and I have had I've had some good experiences working with films and video over the last couple of years. I had a job where I was weekly creating videos to be seen by anywhere of up to 50,000 people to one of the videos I've done's probably hit 1 million views by now, which is cool. It's fucking sick. I definitely had a lot of help along the way through people guiding and supporting and creating an environment where the creativity could definitely just, I felt more, it was a bit like a technician and an artist in one, and the storytelling vibe was largely crafted already by the platform that we were on. So when I've no longer working in this job, I'll come back to Brisbane and I'm starting to do video work over here. There's a whole different sort of approach I've realized that you need to take when creating for clients, and that sort of attention, that sort of strategy has kind of started to really clear itself up in the last couple of weeks, really. Now, one of the key things that I've learned is that just with everything in life, preparation, planning, and a little bit of research and planning and preparation are these things that you just really fucking need to do in every aspect of your life. Otherwise, you will find yourself like in a situation full of worry and concern and unnecessary stress. So it's also about like taking action on sort of like that gut feeling that you have. I find you should just trust your gut a lot more. Like, even when it comes to being, you should know. Like, for example, this car. It is. Take for example this car. I was back here needing a vehicle pretty soon, and I think it got to a point where I kept putting it off little by little, kept putting it off. And I then just one afternoon rang up a few different car dealers, organised to go check out a car. This was one of the first ones I saw, and automatically, like, when I turned up, I just knew somewhere deep inside that it was going to be a bad decision. Yet there I did go check out one more car, and then I was like, no, I've already made up my mind. I'm just going to go simple. I'm going to take the first car that I fucking saw. And I felt it. And I was right, because within the next few weeks, something already, like, went wrong with my car. Now, I was in a position where I didn't actually have, like, the car didn't come with a statutory warranty. Because, like, for some reason, they thought that was appropriate due to its age and its kilometers. And I was like, no, it'll be fine. Definitely just fucking because I was lazy and just stressed and just not actually taking the time and the care and the diligence that it required when creating an investment of that kind. And it fucked me. Like, right now, I've got these issues with this car, with its steering, and I've had it for weeks. And in my sort of current moment when I'm trying to get my video work up and running, and money is a bit scarce, or you just don't know when your next payment's coming in, and all these kind of things, it sort of has an issue now that I can't yet resolve. Which is super frustrating, because I knew, I bloody well could tell in that moment when I met him, the car dealership, I was just like, oh, this feels a little like, doesn't quite feel right. I must have just put it down a nerve. So I even went in when I went to purchase the car, sort of being like, I guess we're going to play it out this way, where we're both on the same ground and all that kind of shit. But really, I think I forgot to realize, like, how much the buyer is an important part in that. How much the buyer has the power in that situation. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to be forking out the money. They had to do nearly fuck all to kind of get that car into the position. And I was just like, I approached that situation trying to fit into this sort of idea and system. And I think that is what screws so many of us all the time, is that we kind of are trying to fit into this system and idea of what society is meant to function like, when a lot of the time it makes us unhappy and people just get fucked over. It's really frustrating to see it time and time again wherever you go, like. And I think at this point, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to be sitting in this position where I'm not truly being myself for fear of being judged for who I am. And the fear is so much greater, or it's so great that you don't even try to be yourself. Like, how to explain it? This is constant, for myself at least, there's this constant, how do I say it? This constant desire to sort of create an ease in my environment, to create a comfort and to not create any worries for the people around me. Yet at the exact same time, I feel like it then doesn't have any sort of depth to it, because there's so many things that go left unexpressed that I then internalize these thoughts and go over them and over them and over them and over them, and then don't have any sort of, well, oh, that's just what's on my mind when I'm around people, and I don't then connect in that moment with the people and hear just like me zone. It's always just fucking me, like, fuck, oh, this problem, that problem, like, this is fucking, what's gonna save my life today, like, oh, I've been thinking about this, and it's always about ways to self-improve and shit like that. It's like, cool. But it doesn't create an environment and a relationship with somebody that really can kind of transcend that sort of superficiality, like to extend your vision outside of yourself, to look outwards and to capture somebody else's influence or attention and see what other people are doing. I think that's one of the hardest things that I've had to realize. And now, especially because I've just gotten to this point of frustration coming back into Brisbane where I just feel like I'm, like alone. But I'm not. There's so many people here. It just needs to change my attitude and start being the leader of my own life. I think for many, many years since I was young, I've always been this passenger, essentially, where the friends or the family or the work around me has led me in a specific way, and due to my indecisiveness or lack of caring or things along these lines, I would just go with it. And I think it's gotten to a point where you can only go so far with that, especially when you close yourself off a bit. You don't have people sort of like go, oh, what's this guy up to this week? I do. Like, I got a couple of mates that still do that. But to then be the person asking them, what are they up to this week? And then inviting them to come do things with you. That is something that I've really lacked. And it's pretty shit, to be honest. I think being the person that can project an idea to your mates and create a plan is very important, because it shows that you're thinking ahead and you're thinking of other people. And when other people think about you, it makes you feel good. So in my situation, with me only thinking about me, it means that I haven't really made those that care about me feel like I care about them. So this is an unbalanced sort of relationship. It's very take, this sort of everything's a take situation there. My first job in video was basically a handout, and it was all about, well, I was given almost free reign in creativity and design to kind of like make these films. So that went one way. Now, it didn't give me the necessary skills to be successful without learning some lessons first. And, well, because I've been in that position now where I've felt unsuccessful and had to radically change my approach to work, which then, fortunately, I've had, some epiphanies and been able to realize, like, how to do my job better and how I will be successful, or how I can keep doing what I'm doing. Because really, at the end of the day, I love doing this video work, because and also, like, I don't know what else I would do. I'd be fucked if I had to go, like, to do some other job, because, like my passion, I don't know. I hear passion, following your passion isn't everything anyway. Like, you could do other stuff that's just as rewarding. But I was wondering why I was so drawn into, like, filmmaking and video. And I think it comes down to the fact that I want to connect with people. Watching people on screen and the relationships and how those stories affected me, I wanted to create something that would then ignite that sort of emotional response in others. And that's all good and true, like having that moment. But the where I am now with my videography, essentially, is I'm having to create work live in public with people that I don't know. And I think the thing about video is, as much as it's preferable to hide behind that lens and hide behind the viewfinder, if you're going out there alone, you're not capturing an authentic sense, because what people see is some sort of strange person filming them in their place of enjoyment, and what you get then is a very misrepresented sort of expression of somebody. So as much as I wanted to create video that elicited emotion in people, what I didn't realize was the fact that the process of making video is also about connecting people. To be somebody, a stranger in a crowd, to meet all these people, to then have them comfortable in your presence, you really need to tear down any issues of... You need to really break down any sort of anxieties that each party is having. So you need to talk to them. You need to say, "Hi, how are you? I'm doing this. What do you guys do?" And listen to them and pay attention. And that's just everywhere in life. Like, I just needed to realize that what is missing is just communication with people. So that's what this is all about, is communicating right now with lack of regard and judgment from anybody around, because it's so vital to humanity, like to your own sense of humanity, to be completely, just feel happier, part of something, to let those wants and desires be known. And obviously you don't get everything you want, and that's not the end of the world, but just even in the moment, letting out those thoughts and feelings that might be important to you and important in the moment, so when you let them out then, you're not stuck thinking about them down the track. Because if you're stuck thinking about them down the line, then you're not ever paying attention again to the present. And that is where meditation comes in handy. Well, that's true a bit, but I mean, I'm trying it recently, and I don't know if I'm doing it right. Sometimes I just feel like I'm lying there. But I really feel like it does have a grounding sense where you get out of your head and feel the environment around you, the temperature of the air, the sounds, your sense of being in a place. And training that sort of awareness, I think, can only be a good thing. Because all it's going to do is help you connect with people down the line. So that's it. Awareness of life and being present, and also I think having proper planning to ensure that the work you do or your life ahead of you is full of all the things that you want to do. And you might not be able to do it if you don't take the time to plan everything out. Not only will this then allow you to be a bit more freer in your mind, you'll notice when you actually do have free time, how much of it is spent thinking about nothing. And wasting your time. And where that would be an optimal time to start including other people into your life. Now this has sort of just been my ramblings. I was up really late last night, and it wasn't because I wanted to go to bed early, but I kept having this conversation through my mind about having a sort of exclamation, to be honest, to get out of my system. I just want to say these things, and it's long, and that's fine. I don't think anybody will listen to it. I mean, maybe, but it's sort of just, it's just meant to be sort of idea. About having confidence. That's what it was. Sorry. A confidence in, well, since I've been back, wow, that light's terrible. Since I've been back, sort of had a shock to my system in terms of confidence, and self-worth in a way, sort of. Especially when it comes to my work. It's like the self-worth obviously does get shaken up when you get feedback from clients, but at the end of the day, what I've probably realized is that you just need to change your approach. So where am I going with this? I'm not sure. Just wanted to make this video and start being an active voice in my life. Active player, active where. Ha! Alright, thanks guys. You've been listening to the quiet ramblings of a man on his drive to work. If you do like any of these videos, well, I'm probably not going to try and pay attention to that. this is more for me than it is for you. To get these thoughts out, or maybe they'll help somebody. I don't know. These are just my findings and my these are just things that I want to get off my chest. So well, that was exactly the right amount of time.